Hey guys, I'm back. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. Oh, I look like a mess, but it's fine. I don't care. On probably one of the most dreary days that we've had in the past couple of weeks, I'm going to show you how to make your makeup last. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Lynn or Line, and I have dry skin, so I love creamy, dewy products. All of those combinations of like using a ton of cream products and then having dry skin, so actually needing those products, but then also not really liking powder and sweating a lot, you know, not the most long-lasting makeup you've ever seen in your life. So today I kind of want to show you how I do my makeup in the summertime to make it last through heat, through cycling to work, through all of those things. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. I'm only going to do my base because I'm also planning to do a Maddie-inspired Euphoria look, which I think will be really nice. So yeah, let's get right into it because I don't want to make this video too long. First of all, the trusty ears are back. I'm gonna put these on. There we go. I feel like myself again. My redness is so here. One thing you're gonna need for this routine is your favorite powder, because even as a dry skin gal, I'm gonna use powder today. So the first thing that I'm going to apply to my face, obviously besides my skincare, is a skin tint. This is the About Face the Performer foundation, which is actually a foundation, but I do feel like it's more of a skin tint. No matter the season, I like to start my base routine with a glowy, dewy, hydrating foundation, just because I have a dry skin. If I use a matte foundation, it's gonna look awful. That is not made for me. So I always start off with my complexion being dewy, and then I build up layers on top of it to like set it down. Then I take this Morphe M04 brush, 104 foundation brush. I have, as you can see, my foundation on the back of my hand, put my brush in it, and then I apply it to my face, and you will see it covers up my redness, which is what I need. Just gonna take a look at the lighting because the lighting is kind of crazy right now. Is it better? I don't know. I think this is better. Yeah. But just do as you usually do and apply foundation. If you have oily skin, this will not really work on you that well. It requires a little bit of a different technique, different steps. So this is definitely if you have dry skin. I need to shave my mustache. Next up for me is concealer. I usually take a concealer that's a little bit more moisturizing because just like the rest of my face, my under eyes are a little bit dry. And then I apply it in the areas that I usually would, which is underneath my eyes. And then I also like to apply it on the sides of my mouth, my chin, a little bit on the nose, and a little bit on the forehead. This foundation is just a little bit darker, and also I've been hiking, so I do have a little bit of a tan, believe it or not. This one is a little bit light right now. This is, by the way, the L'Oreal Paris True Match Radiant Serum Concealer. Then I'm using my Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I bought this brush because there's so much hype about it, and I love it. The hype is unfortunately very much worth it. I've been using it ever since I got it, and it's excellent. It's just like slanted and angled at such a beautiful and very practical way where it really suits a lot of different makeup products. So just blending out the concealer. It's a helicopter. So that is the first base layer applied. We have foundation on and concealer, and as you can see, we're quite radiant. You know, it's looking good, it's looking nice. Now this is kind of the glow that I like personally. I like it to be a little bit glowy, not too much. But like I said, I have dry skin, so if you have dry skin and you put powder on top of this, it's gonna just like suck the life out of your skin. Obviously, I can't leave it like this. I need to create dimension, but this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna take my first green product and then I'm gonna stop rambling. My first makeup product is my favorite one. It's my favorite cream bronzer. It's so good. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Light. This is my second one. The one before this one, I completely emptied. And I already hit pan on this one. Again, it's the most beautiful thing to ever exist. However, it is very, okay, the lighting is just, it's going crazy today. What the hell? So I'm gonna put it a little bit less. This is better. Maybe a little bit less. No. Very glowy and like dewy and very creamy. So it's not, in my opinion, the most long-lasting bronzer that you're gonna find there, which also means that because we already have a skin tint which is already quite hydrating and creamy, and then you put this on top, this is your first stop into Slip Nation. So What I'm gonna do is just apply the bronzer as usual. So I put my brush in the product, I tap it off on the back of my hand. It's just the way to get a very seamless blend on anything that you use. And then I apply it to my forehead first, as we need some dimension up in this face. Depth, dynamics, range, bronziness. Even as a pale skin girly. Oh yeah, I'm taking the bigger side of the Makeup by Mario brush, by the way. I think you can immediately see why this is one of my favorites. It's just so seamless and easy to blend. And the color in the winter is not the best for me, but in the summertime, it's great. So now I have the bronzer applied. I'm gonna zoom you in because this is important. As you can see, it is looking very dewy and glossy and glowy, and this is lovely at first, but it's not going to last. So I want this makeup to last, especially if I'm going to work. Just applying a powder blush on top of this is just going to ruin your makeup because it's going to stick to the area that is like wet. It's gonna be really difficult to blend it. So what I do between each step is apply a little bit of powder and not a massive amount. It's just a light layer of powder in the area that it needs it to set it down, to lock it in, and to make sure that the blush that I put on top does not slip around, because otherwise it's gonna be a slippy slidey mess. And yes, you can apply cream blush on top of a powder. You just have to be really strategic with how you place it and the type of movement that you use. Powder that I'm going to use today is the Catrice Soft Blur Matte Airbrush Powder. This is a powder from the drugstore that I find amazing as someone with dry skin. And it does blur my skin really, really nicely. It started raining again, so I don't know how the lighting is at the moment. So I take this one, and then I have this Essence brush, by the way, which is so good. It's one of their lilac-y ones, and it's a fluffy, I think it's a blush brush. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up some of that powder. You're gonna see it flying around because it is quite a loose powder. The palm of my hand, and I'm gonna rub in that powder, and then we're gonna lightly tap it on the areas where you put bronzer. Little light layer of powder. And swirling your brush into the palm of your hand is very important because it really incorporates the powder into the blush. So it's really just mixed into the brush really well, and it's not sitting on top of your brush, because when it sits on top of your brush and then you apply it, it's just going to be a very concentrated amount of powder that is hitting your face directly. So as you can see, it's already like setting it down a little bit, which is exactly what you want. And I'm also using tapping motions. Tapping motions are so crucial and important in makeup. That's the first very light layer of powder. As you can see, it looks a little bit more soft, a little bit more blurred, and more importantly, it is set down. So now we're going to do the next step, which is a cream blush. The blush that I'm going to be using is the Patrick Ta She's Blushing Duo, and I'm going to use this shade right here. As you can see, I really love this one. And I'm going to use the same Makeup by Mario brush, and I'm now going to use the smaller side. Then again, I'm tapping it off on the back of my hand, and then very carefully tapping motions. Don't drag it on your skin, don't swipe it, just tap, very gently tap the blush in the specific areas that you want there to be blush in. And then you're gonna see that you're gonna get a really nice blend, and it is possible to use it on top of powder. And I'm doing the same thing on the other side of my face. I applied the blush. As you can see, we again have a very dewy look to the face. So now I'm going to again do the same thing with the powder that we used before, the palm of my hand, and just very gently tapping and setting that powder down. It makes sense, but at the same time, you might be like, why don't you just like use a powder bronzer, a powder blush, then your makeup is also gonna be very long lasting? Or why don't you use a cream bronzer and then a powder bronzer and then a cream blush and then a powder blush? I'm quite pale, so I have to be a little bit careful with the amount of just like product and pigmentation that I use. If I were to use a cream bronzer and a powder bronzer, that is like double times the pigmentation maybe that I actually want. Because even now, just with like cream bronzer and cream blush on my skin, it is already quite a pigment payoff, so just imagine. And it's easier to just use a translucent blush, what am I saying? Cut it out. So again, like this, you can see it's set down. It still has that original shine that we had, or the dewiness, the luminosity, but it's set down and it's going to be a lot more long lasting because it's not like a slip and slide paradise right now. So this is kind of what it looks like at the end. This is the technique or the stuff that I do to use cream products on my dry skin without them slipping around and making them long lasting. So like I said, building it up in very subtle, lightweight layers with translucent powder is the best that you can do. You could also just use like cream products on top of each other and then set it completely, but for me, as someone with dry skin, that does not work and it makes my makeup look horrible, clunky, and like I said, separated because my skin is entirely wet almost. It's so emollient, and then I put a powder on top and my face is like, and then you get that separation, and it just doesn't work for me. I'm gonna do my Maddie makeup and I'll be right back. So I'm back with obviously a lot more makeup, and yeah, this is the end of the video. This is kind of how I do my base makeup as someone with dry skin that loves to use cream products and doesn't only want to use powder for longevity. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! Now my battery is dead.